Okay, you know an episode was so freaking enjoyable when it felt like 5 minutes passed and the episode ended. This episode was on that type of level as far as enjoyment alone, because between seeing Tatsumi have to weasel his way out of that dire situation and at the same time seeing Esdeath's feelings for him and everything that went down in this episode, it was like, oh my god, I need more Akame now! So with this week's episode of Akame, we get to learn a little bit more about Esdeath's personality and her character, I feel. First of all, we learn a little bit more about how she actually really does love Tatsumi and really cares for him. And to be honest with you, my perspective on the situation is, I think Tatsumi should have stayed around for a while. I think he shouldn't have wanted, to go with Night Raid right away, because I honestly think that if you look at her, she could be swayed to do the right thing in a sense and go with Night Raid, or at the very least, go against the government and whatnot, because she does care for him. And it wasn't like she said, I don't want to hear not another word about it. She said, we'll talk more about that later. And that's an indication that she is willing to bend because she does care for this guy. I mean, she even fucking stopped him from talking by giving him some fucking tongue action, like, as they say, for Best Gal of 2014, like, yo. And this episode also offers a different perspective on things and kind of who's right. Because if you look at it from Akame's sister's point of view, Kurome, she's looking at it, my sister's a, betrayer. She betrayed the kingdom. What is she doing? She's wrong. She should die. But then Akame's looking at it as the government is all fucked up. They're doing the people wrong. No, they should die. So there's two different perspectives on it. And it's not as if either one of them is really the bad guy. It's not like Kurome is really the bad guy when you think about it, even though she's fucking whacked out. But ultimately, they both kind of are, looking for their sort of justice or what they feel is right. So in a sense, I like that it's not really a clear-cut bad guy. I mean, even as Esdeath, prior to us seeing, who she really is, we looked at her like this animal, this savage, but she thinks, I'm serving the government right. I think that I'm doing the right thing in a sense. Although she kind of can see that the government is fucked up, but at the same time, when you feel like you're serving the law and that's the law, ultimately you feel like you're doing the right thing in a way. And oh my god, that bedroom scene, I was just like, oh man, what are you doing, Tatsumi? Just go in on that Esdeath. And I like in a sense that it was a little bit more than just the average like scaredy cat. Like while Tatsumi was scared of her killing him, he wasn't scared of her massive, jugs, or he wasn't scared of her sexually. He was just scared that she was gonna fucking like destroy him or kill him in the process. So Tatsumi, in a sense, he's not as bad as some of the other shonen main characters I've seen in a while. Like, for example, you take Tsunayoshi Sawada from Hitman Reborn. That motherfucker would have been probably crying in a corner if he was in the same situation as Tatsumi. So, in a sense, good shit on Tatsumi, and I like that it's a little bit more original than most of the others, breaking away from the cliche of being scared of the vag. He's more so scared of her fucking slaughtering him. And then when Tatsumi tries to escape and has to go up against Wave one-on-one, I could definitely see them in the long run becoming friends of some sort or bonding, because at the end of the day, they did seem like the two normal ones amongst the group, because everyone else is just fucking batshit crazy of the Jaegers. But seeing them go up against each other with the Incursor and I believe it was Grand Chariot or something like that, which were both very similar to Tegu as well, I would definitely like to see more of them. And it would be unfortunate if they have to clash at some given point, but I would like to see them more, if anything, bonding. I really wish it would have lasted a little bit longer with Tatsumi being with the Jaeger and being with, Esdeath, so to speak, because that was actually really interesting stuff to see how he was going to pull through and whatnot, but the pacing was just fine, so I can't really complain about that. Like, I'd rather it go a little bit too faster than I like than ultimately drag it out. And when we got to the point of Akame saving Tatsumi, never in a million years since watching this fucking series would I have thought, no, Akame, go away, alright? Esdeath for the win right now. Because, like, not only just in the entertainment aspect, but I honestly feel it would have been a wiser strategy for him to stick around a little bit longer and continuously drill it into her head. You want to be with me. Let's do the right thing and leave the government and try to stop them from their cruel ways. I think that if he just would have stuck around a little bit longer, he could have changed that big-breasted nut job. If you notice one thing, when they were all at the table, Akame and whatnot, the person that she vowed to kill was not her sister, but Esdeath, because at the end of the day, her sister is coming for her head as well. But I don't think, like, I don't know right now. It was a crazy setup in a way that Akame basically seemingly is going to be the one to go after Esdeath and try to take her down. But could Akame do that? Like, from what we've seen of Akame thus far, she seems formidable. She seems like she's very fucking strong. But is she on that Esdeath level or able to take her out? Because not always the strongest at the end of the day wins. You know, a lot of times battle strategy and, you know, wits overall can definitely overcome even the strongest of foes. But, like, I don't know. Those were big words from Akame right now. And, like, it says Esdeath. Come on, stop. Like, it says Esdeath. What are you doing? And once again, at the end of the episode, with Esdeath declaring that she vows to see Tatsumi one last time, it just really shows that she does, in her own crazy way, feel for him. Because she's been, like, probably a fucking war general, crazy nut job fighting all her life, and this is the first time she's experienced any of this. So to her, these emotions are raw, they're strong, she doesn't know what to do with them, and she's going crazy. And again, that just really hints that she could totally change if Tatsumi would keep going. Like, if they meet up again and Tatsumi, you know, gets captured again, he can keep on trying and trying with her. And I honestly think through time, as this, they can change and be on the good side, although I love the craziness that she is right now. And I don't know if she'd be really warmly welcome into Night Raid. And also, quickly, I gotta mention, good shit on Tatsumi's part as well, holding it in for his Anaki. When he saw Seryu there, the girl that killed Shetty, is like, you can definitely see Tatsumi has grown as a character as well, because probably in the beginning of the series, he wouldn't have been able to contain himself like we've seen him before in the beginning. He would have probably just jumped out there and, like, started screaming and blew his fucking cover. So good development on that aspect. And then the setup at the end of the episode that Night Raid's base seemingly is found. Overall, very good episode. Honestly, it was like between the enjoyment level, which I take somewhat into account in my review, very small, but somewhat, the enjoyment level, and then overall the setups, the progression that we got from Tatsumi getting out of their lair, overall exposition into Esdeath's character, just a lot of great stuff with this episode. Tatsumi seeing that he's developed, that he's able to contain himself even in the most anger-driven situations. Definitely very good stuff. I'm gonna give this one 8 out of 10. Love this episode of Akame. I was like, why is this over? This was awesome. Fuck yeah. But let me know what you guys think. First of all, with Akame's vow to take out Esdeath, do you think she stands even a snowball's chance of doing it? Do you think that she's just talking out her ass and Esdeath would destroy her? Also, what do you think about Esdeath? Do you think that she could potentially change if Tatsumi, you know, tells her the right things? I mean, at the end of the day, you can definitely see she is in love with this guy. She's willing to just snuggle all fucking night just to be next to him. And what do you think about Wave and Tatsumi's relationship in this episode? Do you think that they could potentially be friends? Do you think that they're going to have some ultimate clash? And your overall thoughts of the episode. Again, very fucking good and very enjoyable episode. I love when it's a combination of both. But that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, if you could do so as well, that would be awesome. I'm Finette World. And as always, people, have an awesome day. Okay, you know an episode was so freaking enjoyable when it felt like 5 minutes passed and the episode ended. This episode was on that type of level as far as enjoyment alone, because between seeing Tatsumi have to weasel his way out of that dire situation and at the same time seeing Esdeath's feelings for him and everything that went down in this episode, it was like, oh my god, I need more Akame now! So with this week's episode of Akame, we get to learn a little bit more about Esdeath's personality and her character, I feel. First of all, we learn a little bit more about how she actually really does love Tatsumi and really cares for him. And to be honest with you, my perspective on the situation is, I think Tatsumi should have stayed around for a while. I think he shouldn't have wanted, you know, to go with Night Raid right away, because I honestly think that if you look at her, she could be swayed